Hey everybody, so we want to go ahead and tell you something first of all. We have two screens going. So we have Facebook over here and we have Instagram over here. So we'll be looking over here, but just know that we're with you.
We're still with you.
Yes, we've got you. So we want to introduce ourselves. So we are starting to Talk About It Tuesdays. I'm Miranda Henchman.
And I'm Joey Young.
And we are Kentucky Home Team. So Talk About It Tuesdays, the intention is to share information with the public and to just educate the public, answer questions. We want to talk about the topics you all want to hear about and basically make your lives a little bit easier as we impart some of the knowledge we have about real estate. So this is going to be our first session, and we thought the best way to start out the first session would be to go over realtor interview questions. So if you're thinking about choosing a real estate agent, questions that you can ask that agent to try to see if they're a good fit for you. Now, two things we'll go ahead and say up front. We do the majority of our business as referral and repeat client. So I always think that the best way to find an agent is to get a referral from people you know and trust. Ask who they've used, ask who was amazing, or read testimonials, read reviews. Those are a great way to pick an agent.
And here's the thing with these questions, they're going to be able to, we have our answers on here, so it's something we kind of come prepared with. Even if it's someone who has been referred to us, we still come to them with this as a way of saying, hey, maybe you're not interviewing anybody else, but these are things we think you should know about us.
Exactly, exactly. So we'll start from the beginning. So one of the first things we have on here is, where do you rank out of the realtors in Central Kentucky? Now, let us say ranking's not everything. There are some really, really amazing agents out there that are newer agents that may not be in the top 10% or the top 5%. Now, we rank in the top 1%, and there are over 3,300 agents in the Board of Realtors in Kentucky. When we say that, that's not just Lexington. That's not just Lexington, Georgetown, Versailles, Nicholasville. That is Central Kentucky. So that's expanded a little bit. So there are over 3,300 in the Lexington Bluegrass Association of Realtors in Central Kentucky. But ask them, where do you rank? Ask them how long they've been doing it. But when you ask that, don't forget to keep in mind that there's some really excellent agents who maybe aren't in that upper echelon, who maybe aren't there yet, but are excellent, dedicated, great agents. So it's a question to ask, but you would never make your decision about an agent on just one question. So
yeah, exactly. So another question is, are you the only realtor? Are you part of a team? If so, how many people are on your team? What are your all's business hours? I mean, as realtors, there's really no such thing as business hours for most of us. But
not true.
I know, but it's good to know, basically you want to know what their availability is. Maybe not just that person, but the team. Like with us, one of us is pretty much always available. So it's a matter of saying, hey, if someone wants to see your house, one of us is going to be able to make it happen.
Now, maybe you want a person that you're one-on-one with. Maybe that group has 10 people or 2 people, but you want someone you're one-on-one with, and you just want to know that they have a backup if you need anything. Or maybe you're fine with a team of 15 people, and whatever. You just decide what that means for you. But the important thing is that you choose an agent who can take care of you. Now, don't assume that an agent's always going to be free, because, and we try to tell people this, a good agent won't always be available at the drop of a hat. And if your agent is always available at the drop of a hat, then you kind of start wondering how good they are if they're not busy. So definitely keep that in mind. Maybe you're picking one person, maybe you're picking a team, maybe you're picking a large team. Pick something that fits for you and make sure that your needs are met. Do they work with buyers and sellers? This is always an interesting one to me, because there are agents that go, oh, I'm a buyer's agent, or I'm a listing agent. Well, if you're only working with one side of the party, how do you know what the other one's thinking? So here, we always want to be well-rounded. That's our goal. We don't ever want to be negotiating your listing with a buyer's agent and not understand how buyer's agents think or how buyers think. We really believe in being well-rounded and being able to understand both sides of the deal so that we can properly advise you and help you negotiate. So,
my turn.
Yeah, your turn.
What qualifications and background do you have? You may not think this is overly important, but it comes down to things outside of real estate maybe, or things that will still pertain to the real estate transaction. So like, I don't know if in our case, Miranda has marketing experience, so she's awesome with marketing. My thing is more of the technical side of it, so that works for us. But it's basically, do they have other aspects, I guess, that they could bring to the table to aid in the transaction?
And maybe you don't care about degrees. Maybe you don't care if your agent has a marketing degree or a technical background. Maybe you just want an agent with the sales experience and the real estate experience. Now, most realtors don't have real estate degrees. It's school of hard knocks. What would you call it?
Yeah.
But maybe that experience, maybe it's job experience, work experience, degrees, or some other type of background, or maybe it's just their experience in real estate. So that's always something you can ask. Also, you can also ask how many homes they have sold that year. So maybe they have only sold 2 or 3 homes that year. Maybe they are part-time. Now, I have my opinions about this, just my opinions. I don't think you can work real estate part-time. I just don't think that. I think to really be fresh on it and to stay up on it and to be up with the trends and the data and the information and know what the market is doing and to be fresh on your contracts and your legal documentation, you need to be in the thick of it, and you need to be doing it on a regular basis and be able to properly advise a client. That is my opinion. We practice real estate full-time, all the time, all in. But find out if they're doing it part-time, if they're doing it full-time, how many homes have they sold? Maybe they've sold 200 this year. Maybe they only sold 2 or 3. Maybe they're new, but they're apprenticing with a really good agent. Figure out how much business they're doing, because it's going to give you an idea about their familiarity and whether they're in the thick of it and they're really keeping up on things.
Well, and even availability. I mean, clearly not knocking anyone who does it part-time, but it is one of those, especially in this market right now, if you want to see something, we got to go see it. So you want to make sure that your agent is available at that point, and it's, they're not having to be at their other job or something. So,
yeah, exactly.
So another question, what is their sale price to list price ratio? Do they know that? What is their average days on market? So maybe not the typical, the standard for the area necessarily, but as a realtor, what are their days on market? Because that says a little bit about maybe their marketing or something like that. Because if you're, say your average days on market is, 35, 40 for the area, but that particular agent is 15 days on market,
Or maybe they're at 60, but kind of dig into what that means. Understand, and we're going to get to this, but understand that agent's marketing plan. If the average days on market's 35 or 40 and all of their listings sell in one day, is it because they're highly marketed or is it because they're underpriced? Yeah, if average days on market's 30 and all of theirs are selling in 70, why is that? Are they not advising the client on staging, or are they letting, sometimes we get pushed by clients for them to price higher than they should. Are they letting clients price higher than they should and homes are sitting? Understand what the average days on market is and what that agent's average days on market, and understand kind of their motivation and their marketing and their intention. If there's a dramatic difference, you may need to understand why. And they should be able to explain it. Well, all my listings sell quickly because this is how we get them ready for the market. This is how we market them. They'll be able to explain that to you. They should know that. Let's see. In terms of marketing, do they use a professional photographer? Now, I can tell you that back in the day, I used to take our photos and I loved it. Like, I'd get up on kitchen counters, I'd be laying on the floor getting the right angle. Like, it was bananas.
Staying on top of her truck.
Yeah, slope driveways were magicians with photos. But, you know, I really enjoyed that piece of the job, but you get to a point where you have to delegate to people who do what they do best. So now we always use a professional photographer. Look at the listings this agent has sold. Don't be afraid to say to an agent, send me examples of some homes you've recently sold or have on the market so you can see their marketing remarks, you can see their photos. If you see in their photos that the photos are bad or they're dark or they have the date and time or there's a thumb in the picture or that they're in the mirror on all of their listings.
Oh, yeah,
there's an agent who does that. Like he's in some picture on this listing, it's somewhere in a mirror somewhere on every one. It's got to be on purpose. But anyway, or the commode lid's up. Praise Jesus. Don't do it. Don't do it. So make sure that they are going to market it the way that you wanted marketed it. And in my mind, that means a professional photographer. That's a non-negotiable. Also, you know, are they going to offer additional services? Maybe you have a property that's really well laid out and has great acreage. Then it needs aerial drone photos. And there are only certain people who can legally do that. So make sure that they're going to do marketing the way that you really want it done. And don't be afraid to ask for examples.
Another piece of that would be a virtual tour. So we're not talking about the typical virtual tour with some cheesy music going and your pictures just slowly fading across the screen.
or bouncing.
Yeah, or bouncing or popping in, you know, none of that stuff. We're talking about an actual virtual tour where the house is laid out. You can see the floor plan. You can actually click and walk and look around, all kinds of stuff. So it's an extremely awesome thing to have, a tool that a lot of the agents around here don't have. So ask about that.
Absolutely. Okay, so also ask where your home is going to be marketed. So this is really, really important. Is that agent going to make sure that your home is in front of the most amount of people, the most agents? I mean, we talked earlier about there being 3,300 agents in our MLS. We want your house in front of every agent, not just certain agents. We want it in front of every agent. Now, we may single out agents and go, hey, make sure you see it, but we're going to make sure that it goes on the board on our MLS, where everyone can see it. Of course, we're also going to put it on Zillow, Trulia, Realtor.com, all the big websites, and then we have
1,000 others.
a bunch of others.
A ton of
websites where it's at. Please don't ask your agent to advertise in the newspaper anymore. Don't do it.
There is a demographic that looks at the newspaper, but they're typically not buying houses anymore.
Yeah. So there may be a case where a newspaper is right for property. There are sometimes, but it's a little more rare than it used to be. But talk over that with your agent and ask where the home's going to be marketed, how it's going to be marketed, know the websites it's going to be on, and go check it. Go look and make sure your pictures look good and turned out the way that you expected. You know, sometimes when stuff gets uploaded, it gets jumbled. Make sure that your listing looks the way you want, and your agent should be double checking too.
Yeah. So even beyond that, how else will the house be marketed? Well, so we're going to do open houses. Open houses may not sell houses, not the way they do on HGTV anyway, but we'll do an open house. And maybe a few open houses. We'll also do realtor caravans. So, you know, grab a bunch of realtors together. Hey, come look at my listing. Tell me your thoughts on it. Because here's the thing. We want feedback, because if there is something, you know, up at the house or not, we still want to know about it so that we can constructively give that to the sellers. And it's good to say, hey, this is what other professionals had to say about your house. Mm-hmm. Also, like she was saying, print advertising, there is a market for that every once in a while. So
unique based on the listing.
Yeah, if it's that, we'll do it. Uh-huh. Tons of social media.
Love it or hate it.
Yeah, tons of social media. So Facebook, Instagram. I don't.
Those are the main ones for us.
That,
you can do a little on LinkedIn, but it's a little more professional. But social media definitely has a pull.
Big time. And then even like today, I went to a networking group and met with like 30 other realtors and presented a listing to get it out there and say, hey guys, you're probably aware of this one, but I want to tell you all about it.
Mm-hmm. So. And then one of the last things, I mean, and this, obviously this is not a comprehensive list, but one of the last things is, how is that agent going to keep you updated? So if you hire an agent that's just going to stick a sign in the yard and then you're not going to hear from them, maybe you're not going to be happy with that. Maybe you want to know how they're going to communicate. Maybe that's by phone. Maybe it's by text. Maybe you want a phone call. Maybe you want an email. Just make sure of how your agent's going to communicate with you and update you on things like that. Now, all of this being said, when you interview an agent, you've got to make sure that they're the right fit for you. Yeah. Everybody has a different personality type. Maybe you don't want someone super intense like me. Maybe you want someone a little more laid back like Jody. You know, you just have to see who's a good fit for you. If it's somebody you want to be in the numbers and in the spreadsheets and the details, and that's your personality, maybe you want to get a good vibe for that person and you want them to come to your home and you want to meet with them and you want to see how you feel about them. Find someone that's a good fit. And if your agent's not a good fit, don't be afraid to tell them. We know that we're not going to be perfect for everyone. We're not going to be everyone's cup of tea. And rather than us drive each other crazy or get frustrated, if something's not working for you, be straightforward with your agent. Tell them, even if it's, hey, I need you to communicate more. I need more information. I need better marketing. I don't like my photos. You know, we're going to give you our professional feedback, but don't be afraid to share your feelings and let us know what you're getting or not getting or what you need. And if something's not working, we're all grown-ups. You know, just be straightforward. Most of us have pretty thick skin, and I know us personally, we want people to be happy. We want you to be working with us because you want to be working with us, and if it's not working for you and you're not feeling the vibe, we'll understand. So I think pick the right agent, but ask the questions, go based on referral, and then interview your agent and make sure that they're a good fit for you. So this is Talk About It Tuesdays. We're going to start doing something like this every Tuesday, and it'll be a different topic, but today was how to interview an agent and gives just a few tips on that.
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, speaking of topics, if you have something that you want to know about, if you've got something just burning in your mind, you got to know an answer. Or you know, however you want to get a hold of us. So that way maybe we can work it into next week or something.
Yeah, message on here, message, you know, in the chat section, or message privately, send an email, whatever you want to hear about, let us know, and we will add it on to the list, and we will be happy to talk about it. So thank you guys. You guys have an awesome day. Thanks for joining us.
See you guys.